Yo, Redman is in the building. You already know. Love life, love yourself. Acton Entertainment is in the building. Let's get it. Well, the line from "Don't You Miss the Song," my new album. And since you got my what? You got my phone too, right? Who got my phone? Carlos. Tell Carlos to give me my phone. Appreciate you. Hold on, I got you, bro. Keep me recording. Keep me recording. So.
And by the way, when we're doing it, just face me as well.
Face you.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
So the line from "Don't You Miss." If a rapper had beef, meet him out, sound check. If a person was beefing in the 90s, there wasn't no internet to get the word through like you guys got. The new era got social media. They can immediately report it and squash the beef through internet before it get out of hand. In the 90s, it was more of like a phone call. You feel me? Like if someone had beef with someone from the East Coast and they were on the West Coast, they would have to make a call. Like, yo, let's talk on the phone. And then we would have to make sure it was that person that's calling. And if it was really on, no talking, then yeah, we meet you at sound check. There's been a lot of that. Or we'll meet you at your show. That was it. Like, we'll roll up to the backstage of your show, be outside, and we'll be waiting. Or like I knew a couple of people, I ain't gonna say no names. They met him at sound check. Like, yeah, it was good. We here, right there, right when you about to practice, we here. Cause we took beef serious. It was like our characters of ourself. We wouldn't allow it to be violated. Like a lot of new artists. And and the young artists too is they have a temper. Like they fly off real quick if someone says something. Don't get me wrong, not all of them, but some artists is like that he talked about me, I gotta see him. And it's a little more deadlier now because they're straight shooting. These youngins are straight shooting. And believe me, we shoot too, because two of our biggest artists got killed in the 90s of gun violence. Feel me? So it's nothing to be glorifying. I believe that everyone should talk and conversate because there's healing in communion. And what I mean by that is healing in conversation. You might not know what that person went through that day. He could have been like, sorry, like, you know what? I ain't even mean to talk about this guy like that. My girl was with me all day and I just flew off the handle at this guy and he didn't even deserve it. So I always say there's healing and communion. So that line represented the 90s flavor of actually meeting someone at your sound check to handle business. Whether you was going to punch him in the face, whether y'all was going to gunfight, or whether y'all was just going to squash it. But your show and your sound check is what really went down. We kind of didn't wait. See, in the 90s, it was like if it didn't get to that person in time, it'll brew up. It'll brew without anyone saying anything. So it's like, oh, he ain't even call. Oh, it's on then. It's on. With the internet, it's like, you know what? I could send a kite through. Like, you know what? Tell them I ain't mean those words. I ain't mean that. And it's been some of that. I seen a couple of people apologize. Who was that apologized? I think J. Cole apologized to Kendrick. And I think that was a man of J. Cole to do. A lot of people was like, no, man, fuck that, this is beef. Look, let's be very clear. J. Cole is dangerous with the bars. Dangerous. All right? But at the end of the day, he's a man. And I respect his character. Just like I respect Kendrick character, I respect Drake character. I respect all the characters. But J. Cole stood up and was like, you know what? I didn't mean it. And I respect him more for that than just doing something that he wasn't really feeling, like entertaining the beef because the audience was egging him on. I respect him for quieting it down and like, you know what? I'm gonna leave that to y'all. Yo, my apologies. I didn't mean that. And he's out the picture. I respect that more than anything because that's being a man and that's being humble and being vulnerable. And that is what this is what the world is missing now, being vulnerable, saying, you know what? This is me and I'm sorry. Or I don't know it. I don't know the answer. Or, you know what? Being vulnerable allows you to listen more to others instead of just talking. So I'm glad that he took that high route and he's free cleared to do some more music without any beef attached to it. And that's what I mean by healing from communion, healing from conversation. Meeting Biggie, like on the record, I said, what was this line? Biggie's from Brooklyn. I was from Jersey. We met at Branson's. Bottles on the curb. Literally, first of all, if you don't know who Branson was, I would say he was the mediator. Meaning, he was the mediator for all artists to meet and buy weed from. Like, if you got your weed from Branson, you were certified. Feel me? And Branson is my guy. Like, shout out to Branson. Branson, you know I love you, bro. Anything you need. Like, I used to be up there all the time, and I'm a Jersey. And I used to be uptown every day at Branson's. So, and everybody knew it. Like, all the rappers knew it. Like, everybody knew. Redman was at Branson's every day. And any good day, you can pull up to Branson's and you'll see me there. So, when Biggie always came up, he always came up with C's and he would buy some Branson's. And after that, we would just go talk. We go talk. He'd be right there in the cruiser talking or whoever drove him up there. And we just kicking it. He'd pop some bottles. And the fabric of popping bottles, that's why I said it, was, you know, at Branson's, you would pop bottles, drink it, and then leave it there so you can show what kind of night that you had at Branson. So people would leave their bottles of Moet or Dom Perignon or Cristal, whatever it was. We would leave it after we drink it, leave it there, not throw it away. We would leave it lined up. So it would be by the curb sometime, it'd be by the gate, but that's what I meant by the line. We met at Branson's, bottles on the curb. That means how many bottles did we drink that night, how we was getting wasted, and most of all, the conversations that we had about hip hop and stuff. Memorable, very memorable.
Wow. So you and Faith Evans go way back before you guys
Yes.
became famous. How did you feel when she started a relationship with Biggie and eventually got married?
When she started her relationship with Biggie, I was jealous. No, first of all, Faith was my sister best friend. And I met Faith by being through my sister, you know, best friend and stuff. And we were all young. Me and Faith was dating at a very young age. Before we got on, way before, you know, and she's always been a sweetheart to me. She's always been my heart. She's always been a sweetheart. And here's the thing. When I got on with epmd, I tried to get her on because she was amazing. Like, she was amazing and still is today one of the best queens of R&B to me. I wanted to get her on. I wanted to put her on, but I was just getting on myself, so I really couldn't do too much. I told Eric Sermon about her. Like, Eric Sermon, she met Eric Sermon first. I had her in Eric Sermon house first to see if we can do something with her. And at the time, we wasn't really doing no R&B, so she would still come see me and everything. And then she made a connection and she got on, and I was happy for her. When she started dating Biggie and stuff, I was like, yeah, because I was doing my thing. I was already on tour, wilding out with chicks. Me and her had split and parted ways, of course, but she would still come to see me. We would still, and I went my way. I was on tour a lot, and then she finally got on, and I was happy for her. So when she dated Biggie, man, I was like, Faith have always been a smart person. She's Brick City. She's Jersey all day. So, of course, she's going to move with good discernment. And she dated Biggie, and I was, like, happy for him. I was really, really happy for him. Then they had a kid, and, I was just amazed at her turnout, her outcome. Like, literally getting on, being successful, being part of one of the hottest rap crews at the time. I was like, wow, she's doing her thing. So only thing I can do was salute her, pray for her, and wish her the best. Yep.
Wow. So you and Faith have obviously collaborated on Money Wars too.
Yes.
You shot a video together. Which
Yes.
is fun too.
Yeah.
Do you two give each other advice on music or life? How would you describe your relationship today?
Me and Faith, we don't really talk about music too much because she's a queen at what she do. She's a queen at what she do. I respect her fabric of music. Feel me? And I'm a king at what I do. Like, at the end of the day, what we're doing is working for us. Feel me? She's still relevant. I'm still relevant. So what we do is working. Is working. I don't want to veer away from the question. What was the question again? Sorry about that.
So I know you said you don't give each other advice on music, but what about life?
Well, our conversations when we do talk, because a lot of times we text, we don't really like spend time on the phone, like talking, whatever. Because, at the end of the day, like, I watched her go through her trials and tribulations as she watched me go through mine. And the only thing that we can do for each other is pray for each other. Because, I know her family. She know my mom's and my family. And our city love us. So only thing we can do is, like, pray for each other in our darkest moments. And she knows that at any given time, if she needs me, I'm pulling the fuck up. No questions. No questions asked. That's me. I don't give a fuck about... Well, I do care because my kids, but I don't give a fuck about exploiting who I am as a man for my family and people. I will always stand up for my family and people, and she's one of them. And she knows I'll be there in a heartbeat if she ever need me. But far as our connection, talking about life and stuff, it's we kind of learn from each other through our actions, if you will. Like, I know she's doing great things right now, especially with her son Ryder, and I respect her and I watch her, and the only thing we can do is kind of learn from each other. If we got a question about something, we only a phone call away. If we really need to find out what's going on with each other, we only a phone call away. But honestly, we haven't really had to make that call. Literally, like, I'm a clown. I be clowning. So when I call her and text her, it's usually I be clowning on her about something. Or I'll be like, yo, Faye, look at them shoes you had on back in the 80s. Like, I found some old pictures of her with some old ass shoes on, and I text her with that or whatever. I'll be doing it like that because I'll be clowning. But besides that, no, it's just mainly about watching each other. Like, she's all right, I'm good. He's all right, she's good. So in the Red Bull freestyle, I said, East Coast radio sound like Atlanta. Look, at one time, East Coast radio was playing more down south music than down south was playing down south music. It was at one time. That's why I kind of stopped with radio, because when I said that line in the Red Bull freestyle, East Coast radio sound like Atlanta. At one time, it was people from the East Coast can vouch for me. Like, they were tired. They were tired of the radio. They was like, yo, why is this sounding like just like we in Atlanta? I'm serious. You can ask anybody. At one time, it just sounded like we were in Atlanta. Mind you, when you go to Atlanta or go to Miami or something like that, they don't be playing East Coast like we do them. Like, you won't be hearing a lot of East Coast radio in Atlanta. I mean, East Coast artists in Atlanta or Miami. They had boundaries. They was like, all right, we're gonna play a little East Coast, but we playing our sound, Atlanta, down south, bounce, and then East Coast radio was playing a lot of down south and a lot of stripper music, and a lot of people were checking the DJs out there, like, yo, what the like, yo, we can't get no airplay because y'all playing a lot of down south. What the? So I think it started gaining balance now a little bit. I think it started gaining more balance. I think some of the DJs started having more faith in the East Coast artists. But then again, we got to take accountability as well. A lot of East Coast artists, it wasn't a lot of music coming out of the East Coast at one time too. Like, the East Coast sound had died down a little bit, just a little bit. The East Coast sound had just died down a little bit, and we needed more aggressiveness. We needed more artists. We needed more artists to drop some music. So I kind of understood where the unbalance came from. But at one time, I was like, bro, like, I had just stopped completely listening to the. Matter of fact, you'll catch a lot of people not listening to the radio nowadays because they got so many outlets to play their favorite song. You can stream the songs that you want now. You don't have to wait on the radio to listen to your favorite song. You can stream the song you want. So I guess that's where the balance came in now. And, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how radio operates now with that unbalance of streams. Like, I wonder, is radio kind of dying a little bit? I don't know, because I don't listen. But, like, for example, do you get in your car and turn on the radio? Do you get in your car and turn on the radio? No. Do you go to your phone and turn on the radio?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Which station?
No station.
No station. You just turn on your phone, right? But do you tune into a radio station when you cut on your phone?
No.
Okay, then. Okay, so that's what the I mean. It's like, where's radio going? And that's what I meant by on that line for Red Bull, East Coast radio sound like Atlanta, because it wasn't in balance. But then again, it's a lot of things to put into play why it sounded like Atlanta. And I just mentioned it. It wasn't enough East Coast aggressiveness. We needed more artists at the time to be like, yo, drop some music. We need to stand on top, because West Coast was winning, down south was winning, and East Coast has slowed up a little bit. But now we pick back up, especially with me dropping Muddy Waters 2, the album. And Locke's always keeping it buzzing. Shout out to the Clips. They just dropped their new album. Buster dropped this album. So my started bringing back the music, for the East Coast. So we here.
So you mentioned that you didn't hang out with Tupac much because you were ride or die Biggie, right? Looking back, right, were there moments you wish you could have connected and collaborated with him?
Don't get me wrong now. Tupac was the homie. But when I said I'm a ride or die Biggie fan, meaning I'm a ride or die East Coast dude. Like, I'm East Coast all day. Like, if we had to stand on business, Biggie all day. East Coast, that's where I'm from. And plus, Biggie was about them bars too. Tupac, I respected him a lot too. I respected Tupac. Like, he mentioned me in an interview one time. Let me finish up, bro. He mentioned me in an interview one time. And I respected his movement. He was about the people. He was about the culture. you know. But at the end of the day, I was a ride or die Biggie fan because I knew Little C's. We knew Puff. We knew the whole team. We knew Little Kim. We was about the movement. What was the other part of that question you said?
Yeah, so do you feel like you wish you could have like connected more with Pac or collaborated with him?
Well, I did collaborate on his album, and
he took the song.
right. Yeah, Daz. It was for Daz, and y'all know the story. I wish I could have connected with Pac more. I wish that he was here. Both of them was here actually. I wish Pac was here to, because I was so interested to see what he could have done for the culture. If I make any sense. I believe that if Pac was here, along with KRS-One, collabing, we would have had a hip hop union by now. Now, the road that Pac took, like far as representing, because Pac started off with this kind of movement, and then he became a little aggressive far as in the gang or whatever. But I still think he had that mentality of wanting to do something bigger for hip hop. And I believe that if he was here, we would have been progressing to a hip hop union, meaning would have had dental care for hip hop. We would have had insurance for doctor care in hip hop. Those things, the same kind of fabric that any occupation has. Dental care, health care, because we are making companies money. We are a progressing business. So I believe these things would have at least came close to coming into play if Pac was here. And more self-awareness, because at the end of the day, man, we are all running loose as hip-hop artists. And what we need to do is galvanize as one. And that's with anything in life. Like anything in life, if you want to get something done, there's power in numbers. And I believe if Pac was here, he would have helped those numbers gather. And I think if both of them was here, they would have squashed the beef, and we would have been so powerful right now.
That makes sense.
No, I learned to keep it a buck, if you will, from my hood, Newark, New Jersey. No other artists influenced me to keep it anything but me and the man upstairs. I'm a child of God first. And one thing I won't do and ever do is embarrass my city or embarrass myself or embarrass my mom. There's nothing ever in life, in my career, if you will, and never been a time that I've embarrassed my city or embarrassed myself or my mother. I'm a mama's boy at the end of the day, but respect is first. That's why I told you before the interview, I said, I understand, and I'm getting way past the 10-minute mark, so don't worry about that. But that's why I told you in the beginning of the interview. I said, no matter what, my self-care is important to me. And I had to learn that. Like, I've been running crazy for my whole career since I've been on tour since 19 years old with epmd. So I learned no morals, especially for women, and even not for myself. I learned no morals. I grew up too fast. I was on tour since 19, making a little money, moving fast with women. I didn't have that 19 to 30 year between 19 and 30 years old, I didn't have that morals of what respect is for a woman and what love is and what being loved is and what self-love is. I didn't have any of that. I'm just learning at a late stage of my life. So to get back to your question, is like, it's important for me to walk as a man and stand on business first. And my self-awareness and the love of myself will help show. Besides talking it, I would rather walk with the light so you can be curious on how I walk and maybe ask me, like, what gets you going? I see you're a nice guy. Like, why you never had no bullshit in your career? What makes you tick? When you walk with the light, you always want to have people inquire about your character, not just saying, well, I'm this, I'm a nice guy and you should respect me. You walk with the light and make them inquire about your light, and then you can explain to them, well, this is what I do. And that goes back to what I told you first. This is what I told you first about healing in communion, healing in conversation, healing through with your testimony of what you went through in life. I'm in a big healing process. Like, I've been healing for the last 10 years. So I like to explain things in a way that you can relate to, where it don't sound like I'm preaching, where you want to absorb it. Like, wow, I want to do that. I don't want to embarrass my city. I don't want to embarrass my mother. I want to walk like a man, or I want to walk like a king. I want to walk like a queen. So that's the mode I'm in. I'm trying to just walk with the light. So pertaining to your question, I never ever wanted to embarrass my city. I never wanted to embarrass my mother or myself. So in order for me to walk and keep it 100, I surround myself with the kind of energy that is needed, not wanted. You know, the right people, the right blessings, the right mentality. You know, you got to surround yourself with the right fabric to keep it 100. Not with yourself, but with the world too. Well, I didn't get to rock with them the whole time on their tour. I only did like 3 shows on their tour because I was over here, and they were, first of all, they're my brothers. So being out there is an honor to rock with them, especially for the final tour. Like, how can I not be part of the final tour? So I appreciate them. I love them to death. It was an honor. It was an experience. And if they come overseas and tour, I am on that tour. Yeah.
You and Method Man have a long history together, right?
Yeah.
But you've mentioned that you don't hang out as much off the road anymore.
Right.
How have your relationships changed over time, and how do you stay connected while focusing on your own lives? If that makes sense.
Well, Method Man is my young brother, and we always connect. We always on the road. We call each other. We check on each other. Like, yo, you know, like, wait, what's good, brother? How you feeling? You good? You good? Yeah, I'm good, dog. Yeah, you. We always send each other a good family check-in. Family good. When we on the road, we always connecting. Yeah, we just do our shows, knock it down, go back to our rooms, and do what we do. We always gonna have that connection. That's my young brother. We always gonna look out for each other. We always gonna keep each other relevant, if you will. So that's not a problem. Like, that's like, you know, the kind of relationship we got is not nothing that you even have to talk about. It just happens, you know. And I respect it a lot because he's able to go back to his solo career. I'm able to go back to my solo career. But when we come together, we bring something magic for the people. So we don't taint that with ego, greed, any of those, envy. We don't taint it. We keep it the way it is, and we protect it. So that's my young bro. I love him, and we always going to be connected, bro. I really wanted to do a How High 3. That was my thing. I wanted to do a How High 3. Like, honestly, like, you see how Jim Carrey and the other guy came back with Dumber and Dumber.
Right.
Like how they started the story was amazing. And we can think of something ingenious like they did and do a How High 3. I am down for it. Because we wasn't a part of How High 2 because of political. But if we was to do How High 3 as grown men, but a story like a Hangover or something like that, oh, that would be lit. And then make the album the soundtrack. Oh, we would win. We would kill. We would kill. But you know, whatever. I'm with. I got a lot going on too. Meaning, I don't do movies because that's a choice. I don't. You know, I want to be behind the camera more. But I do a whole lot of other. And you know what? The other that I do is just not business. It's my self-awareness of me enjoying life. I don't want to die and not enjoy life. I don't want to just say I was always working. I was doing movies. I ain't have no time for myself. I'm skydiving. I'm doing everything. I'm enjoying life. And that's more important to me than anything. Feel me? So whenever my young bro ready, like I'm here. Like, you know, we could get it in. Like, but until then, we let things, you know, take its course, if you will. The politics of it is just that Eminem was busy, you know, like, and I'm not the type of guy that used my friendship with him as a way to get him to do a record, because I know he's very popular, feel me? I did brush by him. I said, yo, listen, if you got some lyrics that you ain't using on the beat, just send it over. I will make a song out of it, feel me? And he knows that, and he knows, like, if we do a record that, you know, we're going to have to push that pin. You know, we're going to have to go in. We're going to have to push that pin. So, I never used my friendship with him as a way just to do a song. When I hit Eminem or whatever, it's just like, yo, Em, what's good? Checking in, you good? All right, give the family my love. Blessings, solid. And that's it. He'd be like, yo, Reg, what's good? And I know people was expecting me to do a song with him, but he had so many other projects he had to work on for other people that he was behind on. And I gave him his room. Like, you know, hey, like, you know, when he's ready, when the time is right, with something like that, when the time is right, it'll get done. Right, well, yeah. I mean, not really, but, you know, like in my career, have some people in the audience got smart or something, like I had to check somebody? Yeah. And you know what I do? What I used to do is if I see somebody in the audience when I'm on stage and they trying to give me the green face or the mean face or whatever, or like you kind of on some rude, I jump right off stage right to their face. Like I jump right off stage. Like I can be on stage and they can be down here, and I will jump right off stage like King Kong and be right in their face with the mic. Like, yo, what the fuck is up? And sometimes me and Matt, we had to do that a couple of times. And we jump off and be in their face, and then they'd be like, we'd tell them, all right, come on, let's go. And then they start jumping like they needed that connection. Like, yo, we serious about this. We ain't up there to be playing no games. We up here to make everybody rock. And it's very important when I'm rocking, I give everybody my eye contact. My eye contact is very important when I'm on stage. Like, yo, I can feel everybody's sense. I can feel everybody mind frame when I'm looking off stage into the crowd. Like, yo, we rocking. You rocking? We rocking. If I see you on your phone when I'm performing, I'm going to wet your phone up. Get the fuck off the phone. That's how I am. So, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, if I have a heckle moment, I'm getting busy. I'm going to them.
I wanted to ask you like about the Hard Knock Life tour, right? Because it's considered one of the most iconic tours in hip hop history, right? Looking back, like what's the most memorable moment from that tour that you haven't shared before?
The most memorable moment from Hard Not Light tour was, I say for me, is when my strap broke. When me and Meth used to get hooked to a harness and fly through the air. One of my harness broke, so I was leaning out the harness, and I was holding on for dear life, and they had to bring me back to the stage, and the harness couldn't come down, so a guy had to get on a tall ladder to try to unhook me so I can climb down a ladder, and he unhooked me, and I fell on him, and the whole ladder and him and me, I fell on top of him and I knocked him out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, they had to rush him out of here to the hospital. But I was all right. I continued the show. But yeah, that was like a real memory, because I could have literally just fell to the audience. So they wheeled me back and tried to get me down the right way, and I fell and I crashed on the ladder. But he was all right. He came back on the tour the next day. I buy one word. I don't have one word. Here's the 3 words that I buy my life by: vulnerability, accountability, and transparency. Those 3 words I abide my life and by and how I move. Vulnerability allows me to listen to others, and it allows me to say I don't know. It allows me to be humble, if you will. Accountability is the day I stop doing this, the whole world do this now. No one does this. That's accountability. The day I stop saying, blaming people, or blaming others, or blaming just when I stop doing this, blaming, well, I don't know, that's why I'm like this, and started saying, you know what? Let me stop blaming my past for my future ups, and let me be accountable on the things that went on in my life in the past that with me. I had something to do with that too. What could I have done different? And transparency is just strictly saying, you know what? I was a fat kid when I was young. I was fat. I hated it. I'm transparent about, like, when I talk to my kids, I tell my kids, like, yeah, your dad used to be and everything. I was wilding out here. I didn't treat women with respect. I mean, I always respected women, but I didn't respect the fabric of love, because I was out here just and smoking, and I'm very transparent about that. And I didn't learn till later that how to really respect the queen. And when I learned about how strong a woman is, and how as a king we must protect our women, oh yeah, that plays a role in being transparent on, because being transparent is like sharing your testimony. You can't have a testimony without a test. So it's being transparent is like sharing your testimony about your life that people can relate to. Moments in your life that, you know, whether you were good or a piece of, it all happens for a reason. Like me and my boy Kenyatta always say, we always say things don't happen to you, they happen for you. No matter what the situation is, bad or good, that situation is happening to teach you something. God is trying to grow something in you at that moment. Whether you lost your girl, whether you lost your job, whether you lost your boyfriend, whether you caught cancer, it can go that deep, and things are happening to you, happening for you, not to you. And once you start understanding that fabric, that life will continue to give you ups and downs, then your life will be easier. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna leave you on this note. What did I want to say? I had it at the tip. I had it at the tip of my brain. Hold up, don't move. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I forgot. I had it right at the tip. Oh, fuck it. Just remember, things don't happen to you. They happen for you. Oh, yeah. This is the thing I wanted to say. Your reward for overcoming an obstacle in life or in adversity, you don't get no grand prize at the end. There's no grand prize. The only reward for overcoming an obstacle or a situation in life is another obstacle in a situation. It don't stop. There's no, I want to get here. I made it here. There's no here. There's just a continuation of theirs. Once you get there, then there's problems there that you got to deal with. Once you get to the next journey in life and level, there's problems there. The situations never stop. It's how you look at it. So your reward of overcoming adversity, obstacles in your life is another obstacle in adversity. It's about having the faith and knowing that, you know what, I've been here before. I've been here. So let me look at this picture. I know the outcome if I move this way. Let me move a different way and keep a smile on my face and knowing that this situation is going to be temporary.